In this lesson, we're going to be choosing our project settings and importing to After Effects. Okay, so I'm just here in your 04_begin project file in your After Effects folder, but you don't have to start there. You can just open up After Effects, have a blank project, and you'll be at the same place that I am. But now let's go ahead and import our assets. So I'm just going to come over here to the project panel, double click to open up an import window. And I'm just here inside of your project files folder, and we'll go ahead and go into the reference files folder, and that's where I've saved the final outcome of our last lesson after I split everything apart, named everything, and put it all on separate layers. This is what we come up with. Now, I want to import that, but not just with any import settings. It's going to default to import as footage, which will not be good. That will just give us one big piece of footage. So I'm going to go in, drop that down, and choose Composition Retain Layer Sizes. And what that's going to do is take the Illustrator project, look at all the layers, and create basically the canvas that we saw in Illustrator. But instead of having everything flattened, we'll have access to all those layers. And because I'm choosing composition with retain layer sizes, it's going to give me the bounding boxes of those separate layers instead of making the bounding box of the layers the size of the composition. So if we're going to work at 1280 by 720 and we didn't choose retain layer sizes, every single layer would have the bounding box the size of the composition regardless of the size of the layer, which can be really irritating and really hard to move things around because you're basically clicking on whatever's at the top. You don't have the ability to really click on things in your viewer. So very important to choose composition retain layer sizes. Then you'll go ahead and click import, and it can take a second for everything to come in since there are so many layers, but that didn't seem to take too awfully long. Then we'll go ahead and double click that composition so we can look in here. So looks like we've got all of our pieces, and you can see that I've got control over lots of individual things. Whenever I click on those, I've got access to all kinds of pieces here for my animating. So that's going to be really helpful once we start actually getting into the animation parts of things. We'll also have them already assembled, so we don't have to just go in and grab them out of this folder that it brings in. It has every single layer located in that folder. However, we can just come in here, select the pieces we need. Let's say it's just this banner here. And then we can grab those and take them into our first comp, and we don't have to worry about reassembling everything. So that is a really, really nice feature that After Effects gives us by being able to retain your layer sizes and import things as a composition. So before we start actually animating and pulling things into comps, I want to set up my main composition that we're going to be working in. This is just the one we're pulling from, not the one that we're going to actually be creating our video from. So I'll go up to Composition, New Composition, and let's call this Main Composition. And the reason why I like to put main is because I always have some kind of a word in there, whether it be main or all, or maybe putting it in all caps, that differentiates it from my other compositions. And that way I know that it's the topmost level. So if I have any nested comps inside of this main composition and I need to find it in the project panel, I can always find main composition and know that's the one to open. Okay, so let's figure out the size. I want this to be 1280 by 720. And if you have those linked or locked in your aspect ratio, that'll just update when you change it. We'll do square pixels. I am going to slow the frame rate down to 24 frames per second though. So that's going to give it a little bit more of a filmic quality than 30 frames per second. And this is going to be a pretty long video, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 minutes to be able to communicate all that information about black holes. So we'll go ahead and add that on to the duration there and say okay. And now we've got a really nice long timeline to work with and a nice area up here to build our video in. Okay, so we've imported and chosen our project settings. Let's come back in the next lesson and we'll begin animating the banner using the page turn effect.